and welcome to your December 2017 love reading with Divine Love Tarot. I want to thank you guys for joining me with this video. If this is your first time, I hope you enjoy the reading. If you are a return viewer or a subscriber, thank you very much also. I'm going to go ahead and get into the reading because I've done a couple today, and I've had to do 2 readings over because the video cut out on me, so I'm just like, all right, let's just get into it. Anything that I've forgotten to say to you at the beginning of this, I'll probably get to it at the end of the video. But welcome to December. Welcome to the end of the year. Welcome to the holiday season. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started with your reading. Your first card represents your current energy, and that would be the Judgment card. Okay, next card represents what's crossing you or your challenge. That's the Fool. What your past energy is, or what you're coming out of, is the Seven of Swords in the reverse. Your future energy is represented by the Star card in reverse. What you want is represented by the Seven of Cups in the reverse. Okay, internal factors is the Eight of Cups in the reverse. Your advice for this reading is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Your external factor for this reading is the Hierophant in reverse. Okay. Your hopes and your fears, you've got the Queen of Cups in the reverse. Your outcome card is the Six of Swords. All right, so, all right, Aries. Let's see what's going on. These December readings, it seems like the year is literally like wrapping up, and like a lot of things are at a breaking point, right? A lot of relationships are at a breaking point, or people are at a point where they realize that they can't continue doing things the way that they've been doing it, whether you're single or in a relationship, because you're not getting the results that you want, right? So for your current energy with the Judgment card, okay? The Judgment card can represent that it's like a make or break time for a relationship, okay? For some of my couples, you may need to speak up, or you are going to speak up, or you may have, you're going to speak up on whatever issues or anything that's bothering you, okay? It's like you're at a point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. All right, either we're going to fix these issues or we're not going to move on, because I'm not going to continue with things the way that they are. All right, for others, this can indicate that you have some type of lesson to learn from either the situation that you're in, or from the relationship, or from your partner. Okay, so you could be with someone who karmically is teaching you something. Okay, for others, this can represent a relationship that is almost like you guys knew right away, right? One of those situations where I knew the minute I looked at this person that they were for me. Okay, and it's like you're just magnetically drawn to this person. Okay, so for some of you, that is your current situation. You've either met someone that you're just really supremely drawn to, or you've been in a relationship with someone, and that's part of the dynamic of your relationship. Okay, what's crossing your current energy, or what your challenge is for this month, is the Fool card. So the Fool card represents not wanting to be tied down, okay? A free spirit. Someone who is not either wanting to be in a relationship or not wanting to commit, okay? So if you're already in a relationship, you may be just wanting to go with the flow, okay? You may not be trying to get tied down to anything. But I feel like with this Judgment card here, this may be the person that you are dealing with, okay? Maybe you are at a point where you want to decide. It's either or, okay? Either your partner is like, look, we've got to address these issues, or you want to address certain issues in the relationship. And maybe you want to address issues in the relationship, but at the same time, you know that you are ready to be a free spirit, and that may be your challenge, okay? Your challenge may be to either A, if you want to make a relationship work, to be able to get a reign. Ooh, the card just flew out of my hand. This card really wants to be a free spirit. Doesn't even want me to hold it. To reign in this independent streak, right? you can't be in a relationship and be independently doing your thing at the same time, unless that is the boundaries that you draw up in your relationship, unless that's the contract that you agreed to with this person. And maybe you were able to do that. Maybe your challenge is to be able to be who it is that you want to be and be in this relationship at the same time. Okay, for others, your challenge may be that maybe the person that you feel so drawn to, the person that you feel this magnetic connection to, they may not be want to be tied down to you. Okay, so it could be a situation where, yeah, this person is interested, but they're just not where you are, where you feel like, wow, I knew the minute I saw you that I wanted you. And they're like, well, I'm just still trying to figure things out. They don't really know what they want right now. So for others, it could be a situation where someone in this situation just wants to go with the flow, right? And the other wants to make things a little bit more serious. And let me go ahead and clarify here. And, oh, I have my deck upside down. Okay. Clarify, and we get the 7 of Wands. Okay, so the 7 of Wands in the reverse. Sorry about that. No, I did pull it right. Sorry, I'm confusing myself because, as I've explained before, when I lay the cards out, I pull them, I read them, and then I lay them out so that you can see them as they're pulled. So that means I have to turn them upside down. So sometimes I confuse myself. 7 of Wands came out in the upright. So 7 of Wands can indicate the defensiveness. Okay, there's some type of defensiveness here. Either you're feeling the need to defend yourself. For some, you may need to feel the need to defend a relationship that you're in. All right. If other people don't understand why you're in a situation, you feel like you have to explain that. For others, this indicates that there is a lot that you have to go through to make this relationship work. Okay. If you're single, this can indicate that you have a lot of unwanted attention. So you may have offers, all right, out there, but you may not have anyone who's interested in you. Okay. And so for you, as a single person, I feel like judgment is like you realizing, okay, you know what? I know what I want in my love life. All right. And you realize right now that you don't want anything that's going on in your love life right now. You're not interested in anybody. You just want to go off, or your challenge basically is to, taper down. Like, I think it's the same thing. All right. You want to be independent, but you also want a new beginning. Okay. You want a new beginning, and you're not going to get that beginning with any of these unwanted people that are in your situation or in your environment right now. Okay, so the universe is kind of stepping in and saying, okay, let's move things in a different direction. All right, moving now onto your past energy. Sorry, for those of you in a relationship, this 7 of Wands can also indicate an ultimatum. Okay, so maybe, the person who wants to work on this thing, or the person who feels like magnetically drawn to someone, is putting an ultimatum on the person who is being a free spirit. Or the person who's being a free spirit could be like, look, do you want me in your life, or you're going to have to let me be free? If you want me to stick around, you're going to have to accept me as is. All right? For others, not for others, moving on to your past, we've got the 7 of Swords in the reverse. So the 7 of Swords in reverse can indicate that somebody was caught cheating. Okay, somebody was caught cheating. For others, it feels like there was a point where you felt like you were duped, or there was a period of a lot of lies and manipulation going on in a situation, and that may be why right now we're at a judgment time. Okay, we're at judgment time. Like, this is really the make it or break it for this situation because of these lies and manipulation that have been going on before, and the challenge for somebody may be to be able to go do their own thing. Okay, maybe that's what you've decided. Maybe your judgment and what you have decided is that you want to go off and do your own thing, and that's your challenge, is to break away from the situation and do your own thing. And you're going to have to defend yourself. You're going to have to defend your decision. Okay, moving on to future energy, you've got the Star card in reverse. Also, this Fool, because I'm seeing the Star, the Fool can represent an Aquarius. Okay, and so here in the future, the star card in reverse can also represent an Aquarius for some of my Aries. For others, this star card in the reverse can indicate unrealistic expectations. Okay, maybe you fantasize the situation, all right, or you fantasize a person that you couldn't have, all right. So maybe you set off into this new beginning, and in the future, you know, maybe whatever it is that might have caught your eye, I'll clarify that probably later. um Here in the future, your it's not, or maybe this just being going off on your own and doing your own thing is not quite what you expected. Okay, this can represent disappointment. This can represent low self-esteem. Okay, this can also just represent that, you know, it's just a temporary setback or something blocking you, but you're still gonna, for some, there's still a positive outcome behind this. All right, so I want to clarify that again to see what is actually going on. Okay, so we've got the Ten of Swords. So it is disappointment. It's disappointment. Maybe someone that you someone that you held up in high regard or high esteem, or someone that you used to hold up in high regard, disappointed you, even betrayed you somehow, or backstabbed you. Okay, or this could be vice versa. Maybe you represented um someone had unrealistic expectations of you, but I feel like this is your future energy, Aries. So it seems like here there's a little bit of disappointment. There's obviously some backstabbing and betrayal going on here in the future. Um, it could even be the end of the relationship, okay? Because this can indicate, you know, the end of something, and this can also indicate the end of something. So I feel like here, maybe it was someone who you once considered your perfect partner, okay? Someone who you once considered everything, or someone who once considered you to be their perfect partner, and you guys wind up in a really messy situation, all right? What you want is represented by the Seven of Cups in the reverse. So you want to put an end to illusions, okay? You want to put an end to fantasies. So maybe, you know, this other person is the one with unrealistic expectations, all right? And because they feel let down and they feel disappointed, you know, maybe this is them, okay, projecting all of this hurt and betrayal and negativity onto you, okay, because they're disappointed with your decisions. And maybe part of that is your decision to go off and do your own thing, Aries, okay? For you to decide that you want to go off and be independent has really left somebody feeling disappointed. But you don't want illusions. So I don't feel like you're the one with the unrealistic expectations, because you're trying to be realistic. All right? You don't want illusions anymore. You want to see things in a more practical manner. You want things to be dealt with in a more practical manner. Okay? You want to pull the veil off of any of this, the lies and the deceptions and all of that. You want that all to come to an end. Okay? So moving on to your internal factors, and you've got the Eight of Cups in the reverse. So for some of you, you're just not sure about which path you want to take, okay? For others, it's like basically, should you walk away or should you stay and make it work? Because the Eight of Cups can represent wanting to fix something that you once thought was unfixable, or wanted to stay and fix a situation that you thought was over. For others, this is you wanting to return to someone, okay? Someone that you moved away from or someone that you left behind. You want to go back to them. Okay, and for others, this represents that, you know, it's the opposite of the Eight of Cups, of walking away. So it's like you're happy in your decision, okay, to stay or to come back to someone. And I'm just trying to work this out. Because you've got the Seven of Cups in the reverse as what you want. You want to put an end. You should see me over here, Aries. I'm just like rubbing my head. All right, so you want to put an end to illusions, and you want to end the fantasies, and you want things to be more realistic. And here, your internal factor is, yeah, maybe you just decided that, you know what, it isn't, you may decide that it isn't realistic to stay and fix the situation. Or it isn't realistic to move on to the situation, move on from the situation for some of you. So it's like two different storylines here. We have somebody who definitely wants to move away, okay, and maybe in moving away from one situation, you're going back to something that you left before. Okay, because there's this independent streak. So some of you want someone who wants to be independent, okay? And even though maybe you want to be realistic internally, your drive is to make this situation work even though it isn't working, okay? Um for others, Eight of Cups in the reverse can indicate happiness. All right, because the opposite is sadness. The opposite is walking away from something that's hurt you. So in the reverse, this can represent happiness and joy, not necessarily going back to someone. It's just that with the 8 and infinity, it usually means returning to someone that made you happy. So for some of my Aries, you want to stay with somebody and make something work, and others of you want to maybe go off and do your own thing, but returning, it's like almost like you want to return to someone else. Or maybe you want to return to a different time when things were, less chaotic, less hectic. Now, your advice for this reading is the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So this means that you need to learn how to give without conditions. Okay, this means that you need to learn how to give more freely. This also is saying that if you're feeling unappreciated in a situation, then you need to do something about it. Okay, but this is like basically learning to love without conditions. Okay, don't give just to get, or don't put conditions on people like, if I do this for you, then you have to do this for me. Okay, and maybe that it has something to do with unrealistic expectations. All right, because you can't expect always that the effort that you put in is the same amount of effort that somebody else is going to put in. So maybe this is you. Even though you want to end illusions and fantasies, maybe that's just as far as the lies and the misrepresentation that was going on in the past. But then you have this expectation that whatever effort you put in, or wherever your mindset is, that someone else is going to match that, and that's not always the case. Okay, so maybe you feel like you're putting an end to, feeling duped, and you're moving off into a new direction, but then you're disappointed, all right, because maybe whatever else is out there, it's almost like the grass is greener, right? So some of my Aries, you feel like the grass is greener, you're moving on to a different situation, but your expectations are dashed in the future because you're coming from a mentality where you feel like whatever you do is supposed to be matched. Whatever effort you put in is supposed to be matched, and that's not how it works. You give because you want to give. You do for people because you want to do, not because you're expecting something in return. Okay, so if you want to give your heart to someone, you give your heart, but you can't expect that that person's going to give their heart back. Okay, now moving on to the external factor, and we have the Hierophant in the reverse. So in your environment, okay, externally to you, there may be expectations placed on you that you're not living up to. Okay, because the Hierophant represents doing what's right. So in the reverse, there may be basically, it's almost like this theme of disappointment. People are disappointed with your decision, right? And that's why you feel the need to be defensive here in your current situation. Your challenge basically is to not be defensive, but you feel the need to be defensive because people are openly not pleased with your way of doing things or how you've been doing things. All right, you haven't been doing what people have expected of you with this Hierophant in reverse. Okay, because this represents broken traditions. This represents being not even sure what's expected of you anymore. Okay, or not wanting to follow tradition. And this indicates that others just simply don't understand you, or maybe your partner doesn't understand you. So if you're single, that means others don't understand your way of doing things. If you're in a relationship, it could be your partner that doesn't understand you directly. So let's go ahead and clarify that Hierophant in reverse, the external. And we have the Sun card. So on a whole, in this situation, if you're in a relationship, there may just be a lack of energy in this whole entire situation. Okay. And that's why maybe, it's like, okay, where do we go from here with this Judgment card? Because, expectations are not being met. um we're coming out of a situation where there were a lot of lies and cheating. So, for some, I can understand definitely just wanting to go off and move in a new direction. Okay, because you want to move away from this. You want to move away from this, manipulation and deception and whatever. Even if it was you that was doing it, sometimes if people keep holding you to your past behavior and you've changed, right? Because you no longer you want to bring an end to the lies and the deception, okay? But if someone is still holding you to your past behavior, then of course you're going to be defensive and you're going to want to move off and do your own thing. Okay. And here, this can indicate that your partner may be burnt out by the situation also. Okay, so someone in the situation is burnt out, or in as a whole, there's just not this whole situation is just very low energy. All right, expectations are not being met. Um, people are people are disappointed. Let me see. Yeah, it's just, and it's karmic, with the Judgment here and the Hierophant and the Sun. It's just It's just a situation where I feel like maybe it's been going on for a while, and a lot of these situations have been going on for a while. And, you know, everyone has a part to play in their own lives and their own situations, okay? And, sometimes even if you feel like you know how the situation is. We always see things from our vantage point, but when you see sometimes what other people are seeing and what other people are thinking, you realize that it's not just you. All right, your partner is burnt out by this situation also. All right, your partner is burnt out because they feel like you are not doing what's expected of you, or you haven't been doing what's expected of you. Or maybe they're the one who hasn't been doing what's expected. This Hierophant in reverse can also be maybe your partner has come to you and said that they want a divorce. Maybe that's what this judgment is right now. Okay, for some, it could be your partner that's like, look, I'm not really feeling the situation anymore, and I want to put an end. I want to put an end to this tradition of ours. Okay, and so they're the one who wants to go off and do their own thing, right? Or maybe this is just in general. This could be, the both of you, but somebody had to make the decision. Okay, and in the future, someone's very disappointed by this decision. It's almost like someone, forcing someone's hand, right? Because if there have been unrealistic or unequal expectations or unequal, because this represents unequal relationships, okay? Definitely one sided. When you see this card, this represents that maybe one partner, kind of was controlling the whole situation. Okay, like you had somebody under their thumb. So the person who is on the short end of the stick, eventually they're going to get tired of the situation. Okay, so this could be an overall disappointing situation for everyone involved. All right, something that once had so much potential coming to an end is very disappointing for anyone who's involved. All right, moving on to your hopes and your fears. You fear the Queen of Cups in the reverse. Okay, so you fear that love is going to go cold. Okay, you fear that this person that, or you fear having a lack of love in the future. You fear that there's going to be more emotional manipulation, or that either you may not have love in your heart anymore. Maybe you fear that because of this situation that you're going to be the Queen of Cups in the reverse, okay? And that your heart is just going to be cold. But you can't worry about that because you have to, if you want love in your life, you have to keep yourself open to love, okay? Give without hoping to receive. And of course we want love back, but give freely. Give without conditions. Okay, and so for the outcome of the reading, we've got the Six of Swords. Okay, so this is why, throughout this, I feel like it's more you, Aries, that wants to go off and do your own thing, because the outcome is you moving away from a stagnant situation or emotionally unstable situation. Okay, this is you moving on to something else. Clarify that. We get the Ace of Swords, okay, in the reverse. So Ace of Swords in the reverse can represent, this can represent divorce. This can represent miscommunication, all right, the severing of a commitment. So that's why I say it's a divorce. We've got the Six of Wands here. So the Six of Wands is someone who boosts your ego, okay? Sexual conquest, sexual energy. And, I remember the Aries readings from before. And, there was a situation, there was a three-way going on, I think, at one point. So maybe, you're just handling one aspect of this three-way situation that's coming to an end now. Okay, we got the Nine of Wands. Basically, this is the card, like, all hell's about to break loose. Maybe ending the situation is going to cause a lot of friction for you, okay? Because that person that you're leaving behind is going to be very defensive. They feel very betrayed. They feel very heartbroken. Okay? So they may be the Queen of Cups in the reverse. They may be what you're fearing, okay? This may get emotionally very messy, especially if there was a marriage, okay? Especially if it's a marriage that's being broken up. Lack of commitment, broken commitment. Okay, at the end of this, there's the Two of Cups. I'm just trying to clarify. Possible Pisces involved, okay? It could be a Pisces. Are you at a crossroads? But I don't know why I was compelled to keep pulling for this outcome, because something about this reading is just... Moving on. Severing ties. Someone's boosting your ego. Some chemistry. Because there has to be a motivating factor, right? Usually there's a motivating factor in relationships, okay? And for most people, it's another person. I think that's why I'm looking for the answers. It's like, okay, something was going on here in the past. What was going on? Yeah, I can go back to the old readings to see, but it's like, okay, what was going on? But as much as you're ending a relationship, obviously I don't see it being the person that you're walking away from who's boosting your ego, right? So you get an ego boost, but at the same time, whatever, you still have to deal with the aftermath of your situation, right? You're not just gonna, okay, snap your fingers and I'm gonna end this situation that probably had a lot of drama going on anyway. Somebody who was feeling disappointed and betrayed with this Ten of Swords. This can indicate vindictive behavior and backstabbing. So definitely that's not just gonna be a clean, easy break. And then you have the Two of Cups, right? So there's someone else that you're interested in, someone else that you may want to start a relationship with, or someone that you consider your soulmate. And for some of you, you know, that could be someone who's a Pisces. Or you may feel at a crossroads, right? Because you just left one situation. If it's not a Pisces for some of you, you just left one situation and now here's some type of, new romantic situation on your horizon, and you may not even be sure what to do, because who's really ready to commit after they come out of something like this? You're not. There's no way. You would have to give yourself time. There's no way you'd be able to jump into another situation. But that's karma, right? It's like, basically, did you even learn the lesson from your last situation? Or are you just going to go ahead and try to hopscotch right into something else? Nah. That last situation is not going to let you. And so unless you want to bring chaos and drama into your new situation, you most definitely are going to need to take some type of a break. Definitely. Unless it was this situation that has been going on, and you're basically just ending one side. Like I said, you're ending one side of it. Okay? You're ending one side of it, whether that person is a Leo, whether that person is an Aquarius, or whether that person is, yeah, a Leo or an Aquarius. Even another water sign, even a water sign here. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm looking this over. Because I see, it's the roundup to me for the end of this year was like, did we learn our lesson? The last couple of readings that I've done for December have all been about like learning your lesson and not making the same mistakes over and over again. Okay, Aries, so I feel like here, even though your advice is to be more fair and generous in your relationships, okay? Give without conditions. And it seems like you do have the opportunity, because when you see the Two of Cups, these two people, you see they're facing each other, okay? They're on the same page. They feel the same way about each other, okay? So if you do have the opportunity to have this, all right, maybe just take some time, right? Take some time before you jump into something new. Or maybe you can have this, like I said, with someone who is a Pisces, but your lesson is to not do to them what has happened in this last situation, all right, where you had such expectations, or maybe you placed such high expectations on someone and they couldn't live up to them, or maybe someone placed high expectations on you, right? But whatever it was an unrealistic situation, okay? And you recognize that. You recognize that it's unrealistic. So now going forward, you want to have a situation that's steeped in reality, okay? You don't want any more fantasy. You don't want any more lies and deception. You've come out of that. You've come out of that. You have to deal with backstabbing and betrayal. So if you have the opportunity going forward, okay, make sure that you don't create another situation that winds up in an inequity, okay? Whether the other person is expecting too much of you, or you're expecting too much of them, and then you're not able to live up to these expectations, all right? Okay, Aries. So that's the reading. I think I'm going to just maybe record this disclaimer so I don't have to say it over and over again, but, or maybe I'll put it in the description bar, but all of this reading could apply to you. None of this reading might apply to you. Maybe only parts of this reading apply to you. Okay, so when you have this reading, if some part of it doesn't match up for you, you don't have to receive that message. Okay, just take the messages that hit you, the messages that resonate. Everything else is not for you, because there's so many other people watching this video. And I know you've probably heard other people say this, but sometimes I get like emails or I get comments where people are like going off because it's like, oh, you said I was a cheater. I wasn't cheating. The ex was a cheater. Okay, but that wasn't your message then. If you know you're not a cheater, if you know you're not a narcissist, or if you know you're not a psychopath, or you know you're not, untrustworthy, then I couldn't call you that. I wouldn't be telling you. I'm not going to place um, personality traits on you that are not yours. You see, that's someone else's message. Someone else that's reading it has those traits, or someone else is dealing with someone who has those traits, and it's not necessarily you. All right? So, whatever resonates with you, just take that, and everything else, just leave that on the side. That's for somebody else. All right, guys. But thank you so much. I mean, if you want to get a personalized reading, if part of this touched you and you want to personalize it, flesh it out to match your life, then you would come to me for a personal reading, and then you would get specifically your energy, your information, a snapshot of your situation. And if you do want a reading, my information is in the description bar below. All right, guys. So enjoy your new year. Enjoy your holiday season. And I'll see you guys at the next reading. Bye.